Ladies and gentlemen, your eyes are not deceiving you. We have our first square. And not just our first square, but like our 10th square. We got a square starting there, square starting there. Back over here on this plant, we've got a square starting over there and over there. Let's see, we've got squares over here. We got squares everywhere. Let's see, what about row 2? Got square there. A couple squares down there, squares there. There's a big old honking square. Look at that. So this is actually the same day as the transplant video last week. So this is Friday the 21st. And we have our first squares appearing. I did not see these guys yesterday, and I certainly did not see them Wednesday or Monday. So these things are growing like weeds now. All it took was a little bit of rain. So hopefully we get a little bit more rain. We've had a little stormy weather this week, but nothing really in the way of rain. So, but rows 2 and 3 definitely have squares coming out in full. Let's check on the smaller rows. How are they looking? I'm not seeing any square action on any of these. Actually, nope. So yeah, it's not looking like the row 1 plants, which are doing a little bit better than the row 4 plants, are putting out any squares yet. So yeah, first square is exciting. We might actually see flowers by the end of June. As long as we get good weather, plenty of heat, and a little bit more rain. Another 3-4 inches would be nice. So I'll keep you updated on the square progress. We don't get any excessive stress in the next couple of days, or in the next couple of weeks. I can expect these to progress, because cotton does have a tendency to drop both squares, flowers, and fruits whenever it gets stressed, because that's the reproductive organs, and those are the least critical to the life of the plant, so it will drop them in a heartbeat if it has to in order to stay alive. But once it gets past a certain point, it just stops vegetative growth and it puts everything into fruit production. And then at that point, it'll prioritize fruits over pretty much everything else. But we are definitely not at that stage. Right there, you can see our squares are doing just well. So well, in fact, that there's a second square forming right there. So it's Monday, and I'm back out at the plot. And going through all of the rows, we have no squares on row 1. No squares on row 4. It's to be expected, they're less mature. And over here on row 2, we have squares on all but 3 of the plants. We have squares on that plant, no squares on that plant. We actually have a square forming on this transplant in 2-3, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if I can get the camera to focus, but yeah, there it is, right on the tip. Squares on this, squares on this, squares on this. No squares on him. Squares on this, this, and this. And that's all the plants in all of those spaces except the 3 I pointed out. And over here on row 3, we only have squares on the last 3 plants. So those 3 right there. So that's pretty good, considering there were no squares at the beginning of last week, and now I've probably got about 20-25 squares across, what, 10 plants? That's pretty good. So when we've even got a secondary square forming on one of the... Is that an auxiliary bud on there? Yeah, I got 2 on an auxiliary bud over there. So that's pretty good.